It's a hard one because every time I bet against DDP, he shut my mouth. So it's hard, but he's facing Khamzat. You know, Khamzat is very hard in the first or second round, so I think he can get it done real fast. But other
I don't know if this is a hot take. I'm gonna go with Khamzat. I think he's holding that Burns fight. He ain't just a wrestler. He can stand in the fire and delivers some heavy hand. And I think you blend that with the wrestling, just like Oliveira, he can do a little bit of both. I think that opens up either the wrestling or the striking. I think he's able to beat Dricus.
MMA pros have just weighed in on Khamzat Chimaev's latest training video ahead of his big fight with Dricus du Plessis. Meanwhile, Corey Sandhagen broke down how competitive this matchup really is, touching on the chance of an early finish, the size and strength factors, grappling levels, stamina across 5 rounds, and both fighters' conditioning.
Cool, that'll be a good fight. It's hard to bet against either one of them, honestly, just because they've both been looking really awesome. I think that if Chimaev doesn't finish him early, I think DDP will probably win that one.
What do you think's more likely? Do you think it's an early finish, or do you think DDP will?
No, I don't think so. I think DDP will be a lot bigger and really hard to take down and hold down.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know that like grappling in the way that Chimaev does, you don't have like 5 rounds of that in you, or maybe he does, but I don't think that he will. And then I think as the fight goes on, he'll get a little bit tired, and DDP's size and his conditioning is such a factor.
On top of that, Jack Hermanson analyzed the overall competitiveness of Chimaev versus du Plessis. He talked about the rough start Dricus might have, how momentum could swing in the later rounds, and the hurdles Chimaev might face despite being the favorite going in.
That's going to be an amazing fight, and I think Khamzat is going to pull it off. But I do think that, you know, especially early, I think it's going to be tough for Dricus. But if he can push the fight into the later rounds, I think he can have an advantage. So it's going to be a really interesting one. But I'll bet my money on Khamzat in that one. But, you know, not like some people think that he's just going to run him over. But I think it's going to be a tough fight.
In addition, Khamzat Chimaev was recently spotted wrestling Olympic gold medalist Abdul Rashid Sadulayev in an intense session. The two pushed each other with fierce exchanges, non-stop pressure, and elite-level technique. The sparring gave fans a look at Chimaev's raw power paired with Sadulayev's surgical precision, making for a fast-paced, relentless wrestling display between two top-tier grapplers. Curtis Blades also spoke about Khamzat Chimaev's striking mixed with his wrestling, how well he merges both styles, his previous performances, and how that combination might hold up against du Plessis.
I don't know if this is a hot take. I'm gonna go with Khamzat. I think he's holding that Burns fight. He ain't just a wrestler. He can stand in the fire and delivers some heavy hand. And I think you blend that with the wrestling, just like Oliveira, he can do a little bit of both. I think that opens up either the wrestling or the striking. I think he's able to beat Dricus.
Cabe Barallo highlighted the unpredictability of the matchup, du Plessis' knack for surpassing expectations, Chimaev's explosive style, how early aggression could play out, and his slight preference for Chimaev, while acknowledging that du Plessis could definitely pull off an upset.
That's a hard one because every time I bet against DDP, he shut my mouth. So it's hard, but he's facing Khamzat. You know, Khamzat is very hard in the first or second round, so I think he can get it done real fast. But other way, if not done real fast, I think Dricus, you're gonna make him have a hard night. So I'll go Khamzat. Maybe Dricus will shut my mouth again, but I'll go Khamzat.
John Wood discussed Dricus du Plessis' unusual fighting style, physical power, heavy hands, improved gas tank, how he deals with early pressure, and the chance he has to score a late stoppage against Chimaev.
Again, kind of like the Pena-Harrison fight, I'm going to go with Dricus on this one. I'm going to go with Dricus in a gritty, dirty, nasty fight. He's going to have a rough couple rounds, but I think he's going to stick around. I don't think he's an easy guy to finish. It's an awkward style. He's strong. He's big. You know, cardio issues I don't think are a thing anymore. I think that he is going to get deep into that fight, and I think he finishes him.
Chael Sonnen weighed in on how tough this fight could be, du Plessis' takedown defense, how well he can resist being controlled on the ground, and how the middleweight division is getting more competitive by the day. He also pointed out the buzz around the 185-pound class.
I mean, this isn't a simple fight where you go, well, go out and take him down. It's like, yeah, good luck. Go out and take him down. Yeah, it's true. And then you got to hold him there once you do it. Oh, and by the way, nobody else has taken down and held Dricus there. Like, this fight is starting to look different. The entire division is starting to look different. There's never been a time that 185 pounds has had such a spotlight on it. I'm watching this guy, Kyle Barrow, myself. I'm thinking this guy might quietly be the real assassin of that division, but that's not easy to say. I think Bo Nickel go all the way to the top. And I think that DeRinner is greatly underrated. And I don't think Sean Strickland is ready to move on just yet. Like, 185 is a really exciting proposition.
Chael also spoke on Chimaev being the front runner, the importance of the opening round, early takedown chances, and how things could swing if du Plessis makes it through the initial storm.
Is it a surprise that Chimaev is a favorite? No, I would expect him to be. But I also feel as though if I were predicting this today, I would lean Chimaev. As long as you didn't ask me a follow-up question. Like if I told you, hey, I think Chimaev's going to beat Dricus. Okay, great. If we all get up and walk out of the room, we're fine. The problem is if you're going to ask me how. How is he going to beat him? Because I am not fully confident that Chimaev can take him down at will. I'm not fully confident he can keep him there. We're going to know in the very first round. If Dricus gets taken down in the first round, things are going to unravel very quickly. But if he can defend a takedown for the entire first 5 minutes, it's only going to get easier to stay on your feet after that. It's an exciting match. I would expect Chimaev to be the favorite. And he is.
Luke Rockhold touched on the mental side of fighting, Chimaev's aggressive nature, the value of dominating early, his wrestling advantage, and how things could flip later in the fight if du Plessis weathers the storm.
It's not always about the most technical guy. You know, it's the guy who wants it more. And
how do you think he fares against Khamzat?
I think Khamzat is a go for broke kind of guy. Khamzat, if he can't out wrestle you, he can't control you in that fierce state of direction of what he does. You know, I think he'll break. Khamzat will get him if he'll get him, but if he can't get him, it's going to be a hard third, fourth, and fifth round.
Right.
I think that's going to be all Dricus.
So if it goes into the championship rounds, you like the champ?
Yeah, 100%.
Renier de Ridder pointed out that a lot of people are sleeping on Dricus du Plessis, his awkward style, and his habit of figuring out ways to win. He praised du Plessis' ability to build momentum and finish strong.
Khamzat versus du Plessis. Predictions?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are underestimating Dricus right now. If you look at like fights they've had, it looks a bit sloppy when Dricus fights, but he always gets them. He gets better as longer as the rounds go on.
De Ridder also broke down how du Plessis might handle Chimaev's early pressure, the possibility of a late finish in the championship rounds, and the overall uncertainty of how this clash might end.
And I think he can survive that early onslaught of Khamzat. So I think Dricus can pull the win out. Maybe a late finish, 4th or 5th round. But we'll see.
Alexander Gustafsson shared his thoughts on Khamzat Chimaev's top-level wrestling and grappling, his physical strength in comparison to du Plessis, and the clear advantage Chimaev could have when the fight hits the mat.
You're like 2-3 weight classes above him. How strong is he? Because I've seen like he's a good training partner for you.
Yeah, no, he's very natural, strong, you know, and he has very strong genes, and he just comes with raw power, you know. All his power just comes from nature, you know.
Just natural.
Right? Natural, yeah. So guys, to get the full All-Stars experience,
Kamaru Usman weighed in on the depth of the middleweight division, doubts surrounding Chimaev, his performance against Robert Whittaker, what Dricus du Plessis has accomplished so far, and the respect every fighter deserves inside the cage.
And just last year, who do you see taking the belt at 185?
At 185? Listen, I told you guys, don't sleep on Khamzat. When he was fighting Robert Whittaker, everyone said, oh yeah, Whittaker's gonna get him. Hey, don't sleep on him. Khamzat's extremely talented, extremely strong. He can shock anyone. But Dricus du Plessis, you can't sleep on him as well. He's the champion for a reason, taking out 3 champions back to back to back. So, hey, respect to all those guys. I respect every one of these fighters. You know, I know people at home were spectators and were fans, and they like to just kind of talk, oh, he had a bad performance, he had a boring one. But hey, you have to respect each and every one of these guys that's willing to get in here, you know, in little bitty gloves and damn near underwear and bare their soul in here. So you have to respect that.
Edmund Shabazian spoke on how critical the early rounds are, Chimaev's aggressive grappling style, du Plessis' toughness and unpredictable approach, the potential for momentum swings, and just how close this matchup really is.
Actually, I think if it's the first 2 rounds, I think Chimaev, if he doesn't finish him in the first 2 rounds, du Plessis should take it. But if it's in the first 2 rounds, if Chimaev's going to win, it's going to be in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah. What's your official pick?
I don't know. I don't know. I kind of want to lean towards DDP because he's a tough dude, man, and he's just so awkward, and you never know, he might scramble out of those like positions Chimaev puts him in. But Chimaev is a dog too, man. The guy doesn't stop, and he's relentless with his grappling.
Coach Eric Nixick shared insight on Dricus du Plessis' growth since his earlier fights, his rise to the top, his smart, calculated fighting style, how he disrupts timing, and how early takedowns could be a game changer.
I'm so curious to how Khamzat and DDP plays out. I feel like DDP's going to be able to weather the storm the first 2 rounds and then start taking off the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th. What do you think?
I do too. I've studied DDP a bunch. Super respectful, nice guy. He's very well coached. Just his overall development, he's jumped leaps and bounds in between that Brad fight to now being world champion. People think it looks erratic, but it's not. It's very calculated what he's trying to do. It's a lot of those same reps that he does, but there's a motion to him that's kind of hard to gather rhythm. How do you eliminate all that? Take a guy down, put him on his back.
Darren Till gave his personal take on Dricus du Plessis, his annoyance with du Plessis' awkward but effective style, his respect for him as an opponent, his full support behind Khamzat Chimaev, his prediction of an early finish, and Chimaev's insane preparation.
He beats Khamzat, your boy.
No, look, with respect, I'm never going to look past Dricus because he trains hard, he's super dedicated, he's super strong, and he's got that awkward style that doesn't make any sense. I think Khamzat will beat him inside the 2 rounds. I really do believe that. But look, Khamzat knows. I was speaking to Khamzat on the FaceTime the other day because I'm meant to be going out to Dubai to help with the camp. Khamzat knows it's a tough fight, but, you know, Khamzat trains like a beast. I do think Khamzat gets it in 2 rounds done.
Robert Whittaker talked about Chimaev's wrestling skills, du Plessis' grit and determination, his ability to survive early on, and how the fight could tilt toward du Plessis if it goes longer.
Khamzat and DDP, the next fight. Who do you think is going to walk away as the champion?
I can't see anyone really stopping Chimaev's takedowns. Like, his takedowns are so hard to stop. It's super high level. Can DDP drag it into those later rounds? Can it get through the first grappling exchanges and then start to capitalize on his just like persistence, like doggedness to go away? Honestly, if Chimaev can't get DDP out of there, DDP wins. DDP wins almost every fight. You can't get rid of him, right? Because he's like mold, dude.
Ariel Helwani shared thoughts on du Plessis' ability to adapt mid-fight, how extending the fight could help him read Chimaev better, and how he could gain control as the rounds progress.
I think he takes him to deep water and he figures it out, and I think it's like a learning lesson for him and all this stuff.
Bo Nickal covered Chimaev's edge in grappling, how dominant wrestling is in modern MMA, his own background as a top wrestler, today's top grapplers, and how tough it is to deal with wrestling-heavy fighters.
I would, just based on the styles, I just think the grappling style, I might be biased. I'm definitely biased, but I think the grappling style is so hard to beat, and it's so hard to defend against. And I guess if you look at it from a analytical point of view, you have so many. It's really become the dominant force in the sport. You got Marab, you got Islam, you got, Bilal, you got Khamzat, you even have, you can even look at Topuria. Obviously, people know he's more of a boxing style and he does a lot more striking, but his background is wrestling. He did that before anything else. And so it's really wrestlers that are dominating, grapplers that are dominating the sport right now. And so I think that I would give the edge to Khamzat.
Bo Nickel also talked about Chimaev's lack of late round experience, du Plessis' cardio, and how strong he is in the later stages, possible momentum changes in the later rounds, and why wrestling is still the key factor here.
But we still have yet to see Khamzat ever fight a fourth and a fifth round. We've seen that from DDP, and so that's where he would have the advantage. If it goes deep, fourth and fifth round, I think that DDP might be able to pull it out. But all in all, I think the grappling style is definitely an overwhelming style to try to deal with.
Sean Strickland shared his take on both fighters' grappling styles, Chimaev's Chechen wrestling roots, how hard it is to go up against that, how smart tactics might neutralize it, and du Plessis' odds if he keeps the pace in his favor.
So those little Chechens, I don't want to say Chechen, he's not Chechen, he's Swedish, but those little Chechen whore, they can grapple. And someone like me, who I've been training with these for years, I usually could counter wrestle and grapple them. So I just don't know if Dricus can be able to counter wrestle him.
Yeah.
But if he can, I think he wins all hands down. I've sparred the Chechen whore, hands down. I think Dricus wins.
Sean Strickland's comments also sparked some backlash after he made controversial remarks about Chimaev's heritage and religion, which kicked off bigger debates about xenophobia and cultural respect in MMA.
But it's just going to come down to are you going to be able to stop that counter? Are you going to be able to counter wrestle? And you can, it's not hard. You just got to it's not hard. Yeah. But I've been training these little terrorists forever. So it's I just gotta know how to do it.
Bilal Muhammad talked about who Chimaev has faced recently, possible gaps in his grappling game, du Plessis' grit and wrestling potential, cardio issues in long fights, and the obstacles du Plessis could throw at him.
Dricus du Plessis. But when you're looking at the guys he fought stylistically, right? He hasn't fought a guy who trying to take him down yet. It's all been strikers. His last two, it's Adesanya and Strickland. When he fought Brunson was killing him the first couple rounds. Yeah. And he just gassed. We've seen him get taken down by Brunson. We've seen him get taken down by Whitaker. He's gotten taken down by guys so easily. That's why I think Chimaev's going to walk through.
I know that's your boy, but Khamzat has got some of the worst cardio in the entire company.
You don't need cardio if you finish a guy in 2 minutes.
But Dricus isn't going to get finished. He's got an iron chin and an iron will.
Demetrius Johnson discussed the importance of managing the fight's tempo, du Plessis' edge in striking, Chimaev's tendency to fade late, the unpredictability of du Plessis' stand-up game, and the constant threat of Chimaev's wrestling.
If Chimaev cannot get him down,
he will. But yeah.
But let's say he does get him down.
Yep.
And he doesn't finish him, right? I think he's spent. Because you look at his fights. You look when he fought Gilbert Burns, when he fought Kamaru Usman. He had Kamaru Usman fully mounted, back hooks and everything, right?
Yep.
Working for the choke, pounded him, could not finish him.
Couldn't get him.
The rest of the time, he could not find it was shadow boxer. Granted, he might be sick or whatever.
Yep.
But if he cannot figure it out within those first 2 rounds or the first round he gets him down, I think DDP is going to do what he does best.
Yep.
He's going to be awkward. He's going to be do the kicks, and I think DDP is going to beat him.
Yeah,
I think Khamzat Chimaev is more athletic, more traditional, but I think that awkwardness of the old what did he say? The lanky man style.
Yep.
I think DDP is going to put it in the bag.
Daniel Cormier spoke on how high-level this fight really is, emotional triggers for Chimaev, du Plessis' awkward striking, how fans view both guys, and just how close this showdown could be.
Yeah, I think it's a great fight. And you're right. You want to piss off Khamzat, call him scared. You want to make Chimaev mad, call him afraid of anything. And he'll come at you like a bat out of hell. I think it's a great fight. I think Dricus' awkward ability and his ability to create different angles to make you not recognize what you're seeing makes it a much tougher fight than most people may anticipate. Couple fights ago, everybody would have thought Khamzat would just run through Dricus du Plessis. But if you today feel that way, you're out of your mind. If you today can openly say Khamzat Chimaev is just going to run through Dricus du Plessis and is not going to be competitive. You have no idea what mixed martial arts is. This is going to be a fun fight. It's going to be a good fight. And I can't wait to watch.
Cormier also mentioned the fact that there's no training history between these two, the growing tension, their contrasting styles, their clashing personalities, and the added drama fueling the hype.
We know that these two guys don't like each other. We don't have the backdrop of them training prior like Strickland and Khamzat had, but you could tell they don't like each other. They are so completely different. And I think in that different is going to make for not only a good fight, but also a very fun build-up to the fight.
That's it for today's video. Drop your predictions in the comments below. Who do you think will come out on top? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our other videos on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.